Hi friends, welcome to Beautifully Bookish Bethany. Today's video is something a little bit different for me. I'm trying out doing a big seasonal TBR instead of a monthly TBR video. I think part of this honestly is I'm getting a little bored doing TBR videos every month. I still want to give you all an idea of what I'm planning to read, especially so that you can see the arcs or upcoming books that I'm planning to review, books that I'm reading for book clubs or read-alongs, so that you can still have that information. But I want to try doing it seasonally instead of every month. And the numbers don't lie. My TBR videos don't get the views that they once did either. So I also just feel like other people are less interested in seeing them every month. So we're going to try this out and see how it goes. Let me know what you think about the change in the comments. Is this something you like? Should I keep this going forward? It's going to be a longer video, but it's only going to come once every 3 or 4 months. So today's video is my spring TBR. This is books that I'm planning to read in April, May, and June. And I know for some people June is summer, but I live in New York City where kids are still in school till the end of June, so I'm counting it for spring, at least this year. Next year maybe we'll adjust. But this is going to be my spring TBR. The main things it's going to include are books that I have for patron and member book clubs, books for read-alongs that I'm doing on my channel, and advanced reader copies of books that I'm planning to get to in the next few months. And this will give you a sense of how I accept too many books. It's a problem, but let's go ahead and dive in. Let's start with patron and member book club. In April, we're going to be reading Can't Spell Treason Without Tea by Rebecca Thorne. This is getting traditionally published in May, and I have an early copy of it, but it is available as an ebook right now, not the traditional published version. So this was the book that everybody wanted to read. I'm really excited for it. It's a cozy sapphic fantasy romance with politics. I'm so excited. In the tradition of legends and lattes comes a cozy fantasy steeped in sapphic romance about one of the queen's private guards and a powerful mage who want to open a bookshop and live happily ever after if only the world would let them. I'm so excited for this. So we're going to be reading that in April and discussing at the end of the month. The theme for this was cozy fantasy because every month we have a different theme that's being voted on. In May, the theme was manga suggested by other content creators or booktubers, and the winner was Apothecary Diaries, volumes 1 through 3, which was suggested by Ashley at Bookish Realm. This looks really cute. It seems like it's another sort of cozy fantasy type manga. I'm looking forward to reading it, and Ashley, you are welcome to come hang out with us during book club if you're interested. So that's for May. Then for June, we are currently on our final round of voting, so I'm not 100% sure. The theme for the month was YA LGBTQ plus books. This was in honor of Pride Month, could have been any genre. The two top contenders right now are To Shape a Dragon's Breath by Monica Blackgoose. This is YA new adult. There was some discussion of whether it's actually YA, but we decided to throw it in anyway. But it has a colonizer-run magic dragon school and an indigenous main character. I've heard really good things about it. The other top contender is a book that I've already read and really loved, and that is The Invocations by Crystal Sutherland. This is a witchy fantasy with a serial killer murder mystery element to it. It has a sapphic element. I loved it. I thought this was excellent. So I would be happy with either of those choices, but those are the two top contenders. We'll see who wins. Then I have books for the 2 read-alongs that I'm currently running, both of which will have live shows on my channel. For the Mass Effect read-along, I'm going to be reading Crown of Midnight, The Assassin's Blade, and Heir of Fire in April, May, and June. So if you haven't heard of the Mass Effect read-along, I will link the video up above. But we have a Discord. We've got our first Throne of Glass live show coming later this week, which I'm very excited for. So that'll be a lot of fun. And the other read-along I'm running is the Rainwild Chronicles by Robin Hobb. And our live show for book 1 in the series is the first week of April. So I am going to be reading Blood of Dragons, Dragon Haven, and City of Dragons in April, May, and June. So that's pretty much everything for patron member book club and read-alongs. I guess the one other thing I will be doing in April is I have a book that I'm going to be vlogging for patrons, which is Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. This is a romantasy or kind of fantasy romance. I don't know much about it, but I have a couple of patrons who've been very excited for me to read it. So I'm going to be reading and vlogging that in April. And then starting in May, I'm actually trying out a new thing for for patrons picking content or getting exclusive content where people are submitting suggestions of books and other videos that they would like to get from me, and I'm going to do kind of a jar picking situation for video. And we're going to try that out and see how it goes for a couple months. So those are all of the official plans. Then I have a bunch of advanced reader copies of books that were sent to me from publishers. I have a stack of physical ARCs that I'm hoping to read in the next quarter, and then I have a list of digital ARCs from NetGalley that I'm also hoping to read in the next quarter. I think, as you will see, I accept too many things and request too many things, but it's because it's hard when books sound good and I get excited about reading. It is also worth noting that this is not everything that I'm going to be reading in the next 3 months. There will be other things that I pick up as well, but I am this weird hybrid of structured reader and mood reader. I like to have some structure to my reading, but I also sort of mood read from among those things, or if I feel like picking something up from, say, my challenge TBR, or for a video project I'm working on, I will pick up those books as well. So this isn't everything that I will be reading for the next 3 months. It's just kind of giving you certain categories of things. All right, so let's dive into the physical ARCs. Coming out in June, I have a copy of Foul Days by Genevieva Dimova. This was sent to me from Tor, and it's pitched as The Witcher meets Naomi Novik in a fast-paced fantasy rooted in Slavic folklore from an assured new voice. So this is a debut. Naomi Novik meets The Witcher. It kind of hooked me, so I'm excited to give that one a try. Coming out in May, we have The Kinsey Project by Jessica Para. This was sent to me from the author, which I really appreciate, and I'm excited to pick it up. The Wedding Planner gets a YA makeover in this delightful and heartfelt novel from the author of Ruby Ramos's Recipe for Success. It sounds really fun. It's got a heroine who is trying to become a party planner, and she gets a job planning a quinceañera for a teen Disneyland vlogger, only for things to go a little bit wrong. So looking forward to reading that. It also is dealing with grief. Coming out in June is Runes of Engagement by Dave Kletcha and Tobias S. Bucknell. Lord of the Rings meets Slaughterhouse 5 by way of World of Warcraft in this delirious mashup pitting the US military against legendary monsters from fantasy novels and role-playing games. I feel like this could be very entertaining. I've read something from Tobias Bucknell before and really enjoyed it. This was sent to me from Tachyon, so I'm hoping to pick that up. Coming out in June, we have Running Close to the Wind by Alexandria Rowland. For fans of Our Flag Means Death, discover low fantasy on the high seas. This sounds really fun. It's a queer fantasy rom-com with pirates. I am looking forward to it. I really loved A Taste of Golden Iron, which was also by Alexandra Rowland, so I'm excited to read their next book from Tor. Coming out in April is First Light by Liz Karen. This is the sequel to Night's Edge, which I loved, one of my favorite things that I've read this year. So I'm really interested to see where this goes. It's kind of a dystopian sci-fi take on vampires. The first book was really centering a toxic mother-daughter relationship. I'm not sure where book 2 is going to go, but I look forward to reading it. Coming out in June is Take All of Us by Natalie Leaf. This is kind of a take on an apocalyptic dystopian virus/zombie story, except centering disabled characters. It says it's a smartly layered, terrifying read from an author who knows the genre and deconstructs it with precision, exploring how queer, disabled, and neurodivergent people are treated in times of emergencies. Is it zombie? I think it's kind of like zombies. It sounds really interesting. It was sent to me for Holiday House, and this is YA horror. Coming out in May is It Waits in the Forest by Sarah Das. This is also YA horror thriller, a supernatural thriller from Rick Riordan Presents, drawing on the darkest depths of Caribbean mythology, a sinister tale of magic, murder, and the evil that lurks within us all. Really excited for this. I've loved what I've read from Sarah Das, and look at the cover. Gorgeous. The last physical book that I have is also coming out in May and was sent to me from the author. This is Spin of Fate by A.A. Vora. I read the first few chapters of this and loved the writing, so I'm really excited to keep going with this. Magnificent Beasts, Unforgiving Magic, Epic, An Ember in the Ashes meets Avatar: The Last Airbender in this propulsive, not-to-be-missed high fantasy debut inspired by Indian philosophy. Like I said, I think I read about the first 5 chapters and was immediately sucked in. The world building is really interesting, as are the characters, so I'm excited to dive into that. So those are all of the physical arcs on my TBR for spring. Quick addendum to my TBR, I just unboxed this for my haul video, but I am also going to be reading A Letter to the Luminous Deep by Sylvie Cathrall. This sounds really good. Thank you to Orbit for sending a copy. It comes out in April. It says, dive into the curious correspondences of Sylvie Cathrall's delightful debut, a romantic epistolary novel that will take you to the depths of magical sea and the limits of your imagination. And I want to say it might be sapphic, but I'm not sure. Either way, it sounds great. Very excited. So adding that to my physical TBR. Then we have all the digital ones. I told you this was going to be a longer video. Flawless Girls by Anna Marie McLemore. This is, I think, maybe their first horror novel, and it looks great. The Solaire sisters are infamous in polite society, brazen, rebellious, and raised by their fashionable grandmother who couldn't care less about which fork goes where. But their grandmother also knows the standards that two Latina young ladies will be held to, so she secures them two coveted places at the Alari House, a prominent finishing school that turns out first ladies, princesses, and socialites. Younger sister Isla is back home within a day. She refuses to become one of the eerily sweet Alari girls in their prim white dresses. Older sister Renata stays. When she returns months later, she's unfailingly pleasant, unnervingly polite, and, Isla discovers, possibly murderous. Loving this as a YA take on this kind of trope that's dealing with gender expectations. Very much looking forward to that. Blood and Fury by Tessa Gratton and Justina Ireland is the second book in, I think it's a duology. I don't know, maybe it's a trilogy, but I really liked the first book in the series. It's YA fantasy that's got really interesting world building, a lot of, you know, relationship drama, of course, and it ended on a cliffhanger, so I've been anxiously awaiting book 2. A Little Bit of Love by Sanithia Williams is her latest contemporary romance. I've really enjoyed everything that I've read from her. So this is a Black romance following a woman who ends up working for the cop who once arrested her after a stupid breakup stunt. She's opening a new restaurant. He is a handsome widowed dad, and they're partnering on an outreach event for at-risk youth and businesses. And don't expect that they'll end up having some attraction between the two of them. I expect it'll probably be really good. Then I gotta tell you, I am a sucker for dating show rom-coms, especially ones that take a sapphic twist on it. So Here for the Wrong Reasons by Annabelle Paulson and Lydia Wang sounds like a blast. It's a lesbian rom-com where two dating show contestants vying for the affection of the leading man fall head over heels for each other. I am so here for this. This sounds like something I will love, so I hope it's as good as I want it to be. Very excited for that. Then I have Immortal Pleasures by V. Castro. I'll be reading this one pretty soon because I'm involved in a blog tour for it, and I'm excited. So if you're looking for some good vampire book recommendations, stay tuned for a video coming next month. This is like a dark queer vampire story is what I know about it, and I'm excited to dive in and see how it is. Something Kindred by Sierra Birch is magical realism meets Southern Gothic in a book about true love, the meaning of home, and the choices that haunt us. Looking forward to that one. Then The Kiss Countdown by Etta Easton is a contemporary romance between a struggling event planner and a sinfully hot astronaut who have a fake relationship. I love a fake relationship trope. This looks like fun. A Sweet Sting of Salt by Rose Sutherland is a queer reimagining of the classic folktale The Selkie Wife. I've heard good things about it. Looking forward to that one. Then we have There Is a Door in This Darkness by Kristen Kishore, and I will be honest, I mostly requested this because I like Kristen Kishore's writing, not because the premise of this sounds as much like my thing. So we'll see if I was right to do that. Was I right to just trust that I like this author's writing or not? I don't know. It's a magic-tinged contemporary YA novel about grief and hope. It's dealing with COVID and takes place during the pandemic, so I don't know how that's gonna go, but we're gonna give it a try. I do really like her writing, so hopefully it's good. Moonstorm by Yoon Ha Lee. This is his first YA book, and I've loved his middle grade, I've loved his adult work, so I feel like probably the YA is going to be great too. Not to mention the fact that we really need more good YA science fiction, so I'm looking forward to this. In a society where conformity is valued above all else, a teen girl training to become an imperial pilot is forced to return to her rebel roots to save her world in this adrenaline-fueled sci-fi adventure perfect for fans of Iron Widow and Skyward. It sounds really good. Then we have Wish You Weren't Here by Erin Baldwin. This is a sapphic YA contemporary romance that takes place at a summer camp, and it is enemies to lovers, so it looks like fun. Triple Sec by TJ Alexander follows a jaded bartender wooed by a charmingly quirky couple in a fresh and sizzling polyamorous rom-com set in the exclusive world of high-end cocktail bars. It sounds intriguing. We'll see how that goes. I read something else from TJ Alexander that I liked, so we're gonna give this a try. And I know that they write trans characters, so it's probably also queer. London on My Mind by Clara Alves is a YA sapphic romance that looks cute, pitched as Red, White, and Royal Blue meets a Cuban girl's guide to tea and tomorrow in an unlikely romance from a debut author. 16-year-old Diana has always dreamed of visiting London to walk along the Thames, take pictures outside Buckingham Palace, and maybe even get a glimpse of Arthur, Prince of Wales, whose marriage has been all over the tabloids, but the trip of her dreams turns into a royal nightmare when her mother passes away. Now, Day must leave Rio de Janeiro to live with her estranged father and his new family in London. As it turns out, the UK isn't exactly Day's cup of tea. She ends up running into the girl of her dreams in the middle of Buckingham Palace. I think this maybe is a royal romance, unclear, but it looks cute regardless. Of Jade and Dragons by Amber Chen is the start of a new series. 18-year-old Ahui Ying dreams of becoming a world-class engineer like her father, but after his sudden murder, her life falls apart. Left with only a journal of her father's engineering secrets and a jade pendant snatched from the assassin, a heartbroken Ying follows the trail to the capital and the prestigious Engineers Guild, a place that harbors her father's hidden past, determined to discover why anyone would threaten a man who ultimately chose a quiet life over fame and fortune. And so she's looking for vengeance. This sounds like it could be really good, so we'll see how that is. And then lastly, I've got We Speak Through the Mountain by Premi Mohammed. This is a dystopian sci-fi novella that is the sequel to a book that I read a while ago and absolutely loved. I think that her writing is gorgeous, and I really liked her take on a sort of literary dystopian sci-fi, and I will probably read whatever I see her put out because I've read 2 novellas from her so far and they were both excellent. So we're gonna end there. This is not everything that I will read in the next 3 months, but this will give you a pretty solid idea of most of the things on my radar. And let me know what you think of this format. Do you think this is a good idea to just do this seasonally so you kind of see, hey, here's the things upcoming in the next few months, or do you prefer monthly? I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below, but you can expect to get another seasonal TBR video from me at the end of June. So that's exciting. Talk to me in the comments down below. Let me know any of your thoughts or feelings on anything I talked about in this video. And for question of the day, let me know what you plan to read in spring. Do you have specific things that you want to read? Do you have certain things you feel like reading more? I feel like to me, spring is a great time for romance. Everything is blooming. I feel like romance is good, or like whimsical, sort of cozy books are good. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts. If you like this video, it always helps if you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.